For the first time, in verse 21, chapter 16, Jesus announces to his disciples his death and resurrection. And from this point, Jesus spoke plainly and directly to his disciples about his death and resurrection. It was approximately 6 months before his crucifixion. And while they may have understood that he was the Messiah, they needed to prepare to follow him and to be loyal to him as he suffered and died. So Jesus began teaching clearly and specifically what they could expect. Jesus hadn't come to set up an earthly kingdom. He was not being the conquering Messiah because he first had to suffer many things and be killed. For any human king, death would have been the end. Not so for Jesus. Death would be the only be the beginning, because on the third day, he would be raised to life. Now, Jesus' teaching that he must suffer corresponds with Daniel's prophecies that God's plan for redemption could not be overthrown by any actions that people might take. The Messiah would be cut off, Daniel 9:26, and the king would come in glory, Daniel 7, verse 13 and 14. The suffering also recalls Isaiah's prophecy of the suffering servant, and that's in chapter 53. His rejection looks back to the rejected stone in Psalms 118, verse 22. Jesus knew the opposition would come from the elders, a chief priest, and teachers of the law, the scribes. Now, these groups made up the Sanhedrin and the Jewish Supreme Court. And it ultimately sentenced Jesus to be killed. Now, notice that the opposition was not from people at large, but their leaders, the very people that should have been first to recognize and rejoice in the Messiah's arrival.